Welcome to my little podcast, Cade Verrico for The Love of Pride,
Whoop, 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 whoop.
part two, 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 two.
Toot toot.
Like my t-shirt.
And mine, I got the
Oh,
Cade Bulldogs, and I
love.
got my
Yes, you are loved.
my
Good
pen.
stuff. Well,
Hmm.
welcome back.
Good to be back.
I love having you home. You were gone a long time.
I was. It
Tell
was
me
great.
about this semester abroad.
All right. I guess to start with, for the semester abroad, I mean, it was totally just an amazing experience. Before I go, and I'll probably in a little bit, I will play the short film in the background while we talk. But um before I go into that process of this, um, Prague itself was such a beautiful place, and being in Europe for 5 months is an incredible experience. Like I really felt like I lived there and fit in. I mean, I guess I didn't speak their language, which is a whole um, complex, fully different than English language. Czech is very complicated, but I just got very used to being in Europe and the kind of culture over there and how it's traveling is more fluid between the different countries and all of that good stuff. So yeah, Europe was great. Prague was amazing.
And you were there to do what?
So yeah, what I was getting into is we can now kind of share my screen.
Okay,
So
there we go.
kind of to start. We're just gonna play this in the background. I'm gonna turn off the sound for you guys. But yeah, I was in Prague doing this awesome through CET. But CET was a sister school to where we were actually learning, which was called FAMU University. It's a film school in the Czech Republic, and one of the I think it's the best film school in all of Europe. It was an amazing opportunity to be there. I mean, our professors top of the line. Like what we were learning was so great and interesting, like so practical to film. They started to treat us like not just not just film students, but filmmakers. And I think that was the real difference of this program than something at Syracuse or anywhere else I've experienced is um like there wasn't this, I guess I don't want to say ageism, but like just like look down upon students. It was treating you the same and giving you harsh critiques like they would to everyone else.
Great.
Um yeah, so the
And
program.
this was your film that you directed and produced with your crew, right? Shout out to your peeps.
Yeah, shout out. We'll talk about Tiana later on in this because her and I will work on in the future, but also shout out to my amazing DP Giffen, who did a great job on this. Yeah, no, but there's a lot of friends from Syracuse, friends who I met in Prague, different people who helped accomplish this film. I mean, the film itself was great. The actress and the actor were amazing. We were very lucky to get them, and the casting process was super cool. Because Prague is a big city, there was local talent we could pull from, and we were able to do like in-person auditions, which was really awesome. Like to get the pairs to come in, have them read stuff together, have them play some games, have them do some like just some chemistry stuff and see how they interacted. I mean, this role is so big about a pair rather than a separate individual. It's about a pair of them and how they're changing apart and together at the same time. Um, so it was really important they had strong chemistry. So the audition process was really awesome in
Right.
that sense. Um,
What is the name of the film kid?
Open Window.
Open window.
Yeah, so the
Right.
film's name is Open Window. It took us a long, long time to get to a name. That is the very last thing we did of the film. We had done every other part, and we were like, "What do we name it? What do we name it?" Open Window eventually came out. I don't know if we're fully satisfied with it, but we got to something, and it has actually grown on me a lot since it's been finally just put there. Uh,
And you were talking about the story, and that it's about, the chemistry between two people. Are they, I don't know if they're married or just this couple that's living together.
yeah, I think they could be married or they could not be, but it's a couple that's been together for about 10 years who is struggling with intimacy and romance, and they're kind of just living in this mundane life. But to bring intimacy back into their lives, they decide to start like going to these open houses or like real estate showings and pretending that they live in them. Um, this game kind of becomes uh, a little. This game kind of becomes dangerous when they almost get caught, or they do get caught in a situation, and the girl kind of the wife or the girl partner, she kind of feels um a little insecure about how these places are making her feel. So she tries to bring intimacy back into the house and communicate this with her partner, but it never really hits with him.
Yeah, he's not seeing her, which I think you guys did such a beautiful job of, like, you guys, I had the opportunity to sit and have dinner with you guys in Prague, and it was so cool to hear about the story and the, like, how it evolved into this. And I have to say, I'm blown away. Like, I could cry because it's so beautiful. It's so cool to see what you guys described to me come to life in
Mhm.
this film. I'm so proud of you, all of you. Really neat. So,
Yeah, my group was.
congratulations.
Definitely had a very awesome group there. That's the reason that this turned out great. I mean, not to undercut myself, I think I did the best job I could in the moment, but I really couldn't have done this without my team and the people there, and especially the mentors and all of their opinions and everything.
Well, I've learned a lot from you, talking about the experience and how the film industry is about, everyone may specialize in a certain area, but it's the group effort and the dynamics of pulling all of that energy together.
Mm-hmm.
So it is truly a team effort to
Yeah, film's a team sport.
this. Yeah.
For
Like
sure.
it's a big picture, but in the beginning, it's like all these tiny little pieces, right? And then you pull it all together, which,
Yeah,
gosh,
I mean,
pretty cool.
you think about a feature film nowadays that's being made, the
I wanted to
millions
play
of
that role. I wanted to be that lady. Oh,
um you think about a feature film nowadays that's years before you even film,
right.
so there's just so much prep that goes into this. Like, you don't think about when you just watch a movie, you're not thinking about, well, I mean, the normal viewer isn't thinking about, oh, how did you get the light to shade on that face the right way, or what thought was put into the clothing and what does it mean, and wait, this wallpaper on the back of the wall looks so perfectly set, I wonder who spent hours putting that up. Like,
David.
there's all of these intricate pieces that go into the film, like the set deck, the prep beforehand, the script writing. I mean, I think one of the favorite things I learned from one of my professors, Esteban, was that a script is truly it's an art form that once it's done, it dies,
Hmm.
because a script is transformed into this. It's not something that it's not something that, I mean, yes, there are like script competitions and people do read scripts, but it's not something that really ever gets seen by a majority of the people. And that's why, like, I think it's such a like a beautiful part. Like, you spend all this time focusing on this writing piece that you're trying to make artistic and beautiful in its own way, and it's not even something that's going to everyone will be able, no one will really be able to see the effort you put into it if it's not combined with great acting effort and great cinematography and great lighting and great production design, all of these parts connecting and working to mesh to make a good movie, because something could have really good parts to it but is ruined by bad acting or bad writing or sometimes bad visuals can just kind of ruin a film completely when it had so much potential.
Right. Right. Well, good stuff. You guys are still working on this, I
Mhm.
understand, but you're submitting it to
Festivals, yeah,
festivals.
it should be done by the end of the summer, and we will have it by then. We'll hopefully have it on a Vimeo link, and we'll be submitting it to festivals. We obviously are gonna shoot big and go for the big stuff, but then also do a bunch of smaller ones too. Spread our love. Probably about 10 different festivals will be our my goal at least.
Good stuff.
And I'm pretty confident we'll get into at least a few. So, yeah, no, it will be released then. But it's pretty much done. It just needs, we added subtitles, but that's not in this version. You can't see it yet. And then we also tried to make a couple scenes longer, but we have to add new soundscapes. So it's going to be, we need to contact someone to get a payment through. And then we will probably have something that's pretty much done. We also might want to touch up the colors a little bit. So we'll see.
Good stuff. I love it. I keep saying
Yeah.
good stuff. It really does excite me, this world that you're in. So I'm going to pivot and take you down the road of your senior year at
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse. You are going back to school in August,
Yes.
and I know you've been working on your what is it, a final project, right?
It's a
Thesis?
thesis film, yes.
Okay, a thesis film. And this is something that you started writing like a year ago, right?
Um, so I've been writing it. I guess I've had a script for it since February of this year.
Of this year. Okay.
So not a full year ago, but I mean, it's been something I've been thinking about. I had a I had a breakdown, like we call it a treatment, a film treatment. I had a treatment written for my senior thesis. Yeah, last summer before going into junior year. Um, because I was going abroad and I had all this stuff coming up. So I really wanted to, kind of be prepared for that. I mean, the idea has pivoted a lot since then. So obviously it's a whole different beast already. And with my mom's ideas coming
Wait,
in and
me?
being added into the film and all these other collected ideas, it's changing a lot. But one thing that it is bringing it back to the love of pride, is it's a gay ass movie.
Awesome. You
um
gonna show us something on your
yeah, so I have
okay.
another thing to screen share.
Okay. Ooh.
Awesome.
Ooh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, it's all right.
I love it.
See if we can put it in slideshow mode.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So my film's called Preoccupation. Um, it is going to be my senior thesis. It's about, 10, hopefully the goal is 10 minutes. It might be a little bit longer, is what I'm thinking, but 10 minutes is my goal for the film. Preoccupation is honestly kind of a tragedy. It's a film that hits you and then also hits you and then hits you. There's some fun moments and some beautiful parts, but honestly, for the characters, it's not an enjoyable event of their life right now.
Right.
Um, so log line right here, after the young man relives broke. So it's kind of this main character reliving broken memories with his partner and how he learns to deal with that pain.
Okay.
We're shooting on November 7th through the 9th. super important. Yeah, so kind of like this is like a I'm not gonna read this whole thing to you guys, but oh, the doggy. Um, so basically, this film is about Teddy, and his name used to be TJ, but now is Connor. Um, and two they're two different sides of love. I mean, Teddy is the main character, and kind of struggles. He struggles a lot with his own self image, and he hides behind these flamboyant outfits and these, you know, big colors, and almost sometimes like a big personality. But Teddy is really the kind of person that is looking for something to satisfy him for one thing that is, like maybe it's love, maybe it's something, but Teddy is Teddy is chasing something to solve himself. He has a big addiction problem, and he that comes out in the way he parties, the way he uses drugs, the way he loves.
Okay.
And Connor is kind of um what we think of as a classic young man, very honestly, emotionally unavailable. Like he loves attention and validation, but fears intimacy and responsibility. So he is a lot of young men of this generation who just kind of struggle with letting themselves fully love something. And they don't like, you don't want to lose that attention, but you get bored of it. So both of them are not both
Really
of them
old.
are not necessarily good people or
Yeah.
good characters. And I think that's why this film's interesting. I mean, you're gonna sympathize with both characters as they're going through this tragedy of a relationship that I fear most of us have experienced in our young age. Um, people get very lucky when something works out. I mean, I watched a movie last night, Materialists, and they shove, not to spoil the film, but they shove down this idea that love is, or dating at least, is dangerous. It's a risk. It's a huge risk you're taking every time. And you're putting yourself up emotionally and intimately. And it could lead to a lot of dangerous things, like sometimes women go on a first date and they're somehow followed into the bathroom. Like there's a lot of risk you put when you're in this dating world, but it's a risk that comes with could be the best reward in your life, finding someone to grow old with, finding that satisfaction of being with someone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's kind of this film shows a dangerous side of dating and how holding on to love too hard it could be dangerous.
Okay.
I think this is important to show. Like for me, this film talks about a lot about personal experience, but outside of that, I think it's important to show that um I mean queer relationships are toxic in their own way. Like they can they have a different type of dynamic that is about, you know, if you are the same gender, what is it like when have the same you're in the same spaces and you're occupying the same friend groups and you're occupying the same, this like same group, and how it exists in that dynamic of a relationship. I think is really important to show. Like I think this film to, is important to prove that the queer community, has honestly an issue with how we of how we approach dating and how we approach intimacy. It's a very most of the time too much in some situations, but not enough in the intimate ones. So
Layered.
yeah, it's a very layered.
Any personal, like your experiences that you're bringing to light in this? I mean, I guess a lot of,
I mean, I have had two pretty shitty relationships, so I mean, I guess that would be a lot of the pretty much the personal experience I'm bringing to this, but it's also just like, seeing all of these queer relationships between my friends and myself and all, yeah, like all around that, and versus what they show us on TV, it's either these it's always these, if they're like the same age and pretty, it works out perfectly. But if like the toxic ones that they always show are like two men that have suppressed queerness, or two men, one is way older and one is way younger, like where there's some kind of external dynamic that's throwing them off. But I want to show that like you can be stereotypically like looking great on paper and still struggle as a relationship,
right.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that.
Yeah, so kind of, I mean, so I am just working through this process. I'm currently casting right now is the big thing I'm doing. I'm also looking into Airbnbs. I'm gonna obviously shoot it up at school. So yeah, there's a lot of process that goes on. This is my awesome crew. This is my bio and previous work that I've done. Hi.
Here's my puppy. Hello, Lucy.
Yeah, so and this is my DP Tiana. We were co-directors in Prague, so her and I have worked together on a lot of stuff. I'm super happy to work with her again.
She's
She's my bestie. She knows kind of what I want, and I'm super lucky to have her as a tool. I mean, she's super connected with people in the industry. I mean, she's done a lot of work in China, different sets and everything. So it's, yeah, just so amazing to have her and her perspective and her talent on this project. I mean, I also have some other amazing production team too. I mean, my whole crew is amazing. Like we talked about, you need the best in each section to get what you need. Hi. To get this perfect film with all the parts coming together. So yeah, and I think with this team we can make something really good. These are just a couple visuals of what I want the film to look like. There is a big that's one of the parts we didn't talk about, but there's a big motif with fish in this movie and beta fish, and how when two male beta fish are together, they one will always be perfect and the other one will always come out damaged.
mm,
So that's a big motif that is shown in this film with a lot of like fish shots and stuff like that. These are all
okay.
mood boards for the film to kind of show throughout the different scenes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yes. You also
But
mentioned
as
that, Cade, that there's going to be like an animated.
yes,
Okay.
so kind of in this image on the far left, like the far left middle, is a
Okay.
little bit of an example of what some of the stuff we'll do. We're going to be doing animated overlays of the fish coming across. It might be done where it's kind of more digitally art. So we're going to have the fish in their tank and swim behind green screens and superimpose that into it. But it's
Okay.
also going to start with an animated kind of version of the fish like this in this corner of them swimming with each other and playing with each other and then fighting each other and then one dying. And that will be shown kind of in the beginning of the film and also towards the end of the film to kind of wrap tied together this overall motif of the film.
Well, it certainly has me interested, and definitely I can sense that it is definitely a drama with some big emotions and some hard love in there for sure. So I'm really interested in how this will continue and evolve. Now, I know you have a GoFundMe. Tell us a little bit about like that you're looking to raise money, right?
Yeah, so
For all of
I
this.
think as we've talked about, you see that this crap is a lot of steps,
Yes.
and therefore it costs a lot of money. I mean, I don't have a full I don't have a full budget sheet, but this is a very informal, you know, just for you special podcast viewers, um, budget sheet that I have listed here. I'm ideally trying to raise $5,000. Two thousand of that I plan to raise on my own and put my own hard Creekside Diner saved money into. But then 3,000, I'm really, really hoping I can raise on GoFundMe. So far we've raised a little bit over 500, which is awesome because we have until November to raise all of this money. Um, Obviously, I'm gonna need to spend money before then on different stuff. But yeah, so this is kind of a breakdown. Both of the actors obviously need to get paid, and majority of the actors are not coming from the Syracuse area. So if I pull an actor from, let's say, New York City, which is where a lot of talent is located, that's $100 ticket at least.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why we have $400 in there to assuming that each ticket is 200 for both actors. Um, that's kind of the buffer there. I mean, we looked at it and it's normally about 100 something for both ways. So it shouldn't be that much, but that's just, having that buffer in there is really important. Because they could be coming further from New York. They could like I don't have officially who I've casted yet. Um, Locations, yeah. So I have two locations. One of them is an Airbnb with that needs to have kind of three different setups: a dining room setup, a kitchen, a bedroom, and like a living room space. Um, and then there's also like a party space that I'm filming in. So we kind of have to reach out to those places and get Airbnbs booked and make sure they let us film there and make sure they're willing to let us set deck the place and take down paintings and do all of this stuff. And sometimes they'll charge us more money because we're, messing with their house, like moving things and taking things apart. And, that could be somewhat sometimes damaging if you're not extra careful with these Airbnbs. And you obviously don't want to ruin relationships with these Airbnbs because Syracuse is a film school and Syracuse has a film school and kids need to film in places.
Right.
So you can't ruin these relationships with these certain places for filming. Um, Also, you have to feed your crew. I mean, when you have a set, you can't just starve everyone for 12 hours a day.
Right. Because you guys, I
So
was gonna say you're there like a long time.
yeah, so way set typically works, and I'm on 10 of them this upcoming semester
Oh my God.
as either assistant director, sound guy, or sometimes art team. Um, I'm doing a lot of different awesome stuff on sets this semester. I'm super excited for that. Um, Also, if I post anything on Instagram about other sets, you guys should look at those because my friends are super cool and talented too. Um, but yeah, no, like you are on set for 12-hour, I mean, union rules. Technically, I don't need to follow them, but students will, I always do because students will get pissed if you don't, give them breaks and if you overwork them. So I follow union rules, which is 12-hour long sets, and you need two meal breaks during that with um with at least 10 hours in between set times, call times, and end times. So, for example, mine, I don't know if it's going to work like this yet, But Thursday is a rehearsal day, so we're setting up set tech in the morning of the location. We're getting the equipment midday, and then I'm rehearsing with the actors in the second half of the day, and then we're getting ready to shoot the next day. Maybe we start 8 a.m. We'll shoot 8 to 8, and then the day after that, maybe we need nighttime, so we'll move a little further back. But you have to have a buffer of at least 10 hours and 12 hours in between, and 12-hour long sets. I mean, 10 hours in between 12-hour long sets.
Okay.
Uh, and with 12 hours, you only probably get done 10 to 15 shots.
Wow.
So yeah, it's because you're setting up lights, you're setting up um set design, you're setting up camera, you're setting up actors, you're making sure the actors do it right. You're making sure the lighting is right. You're making sure they're wearing the right clothes, they're saying the right lines, they're doing the right part. All of these different, intricate details go into that parts. And that's why it's amazing that I have a cool crew to help me with all those individual parts. Because you can make movies by yourself. People do it all the time. They don't make big movies by themselves. They make little home videos or stuff like that, and they can turn out really cool. But if you really want to practice film the right way, it should be a team sport.
Well,
Um,
I am really excited for you. So your hope is to have this, like, you're gonna film it this fall
mhm.
and have like try it has to be completed by the end of the year, you said, or LA for your spring semester, right? So
Yeah, so the film has to be shot and have a string out by the end of this upcoming semester. So, everything has to be recorded and, you know, edited in the order it's supposed to be. It does not need to be the final edit of the film. The final edit of the film is due in April.
okay.
And then it will have to, and in that point, during the winter semester, I'll be going through the process of color grading, of sound mixing, of, adding changing up the edit, changing up changing up the animation style of the stuff I'm going to do for that. So there's a whole post production process that happens for a whole semester. Right now, I'm pretty deep in pre production with this casting and all of this stuff. And then next semester will be production, and last semester will be post.
So we'll have to check in with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll be coming up a couple times. So maybe end of September, that's Parents Weekend. We can get like a little pulse check where you are with fundraising, and then also where you are with the movie, and maybe get another pulse check at the end of the semester, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'll love to show.
Running out of time. I love all of this that you're sharing with me, but trying to keep my podcast a little shorter. It's my little podcast, Cade. But
Okay, well, let me say these few things real
okay,
quick. I will be posting updates about the GoFundMe on my Instagram at Cade_Verrico.
and I'll put
Um,
that in the
and she'll put
bio.
that in there, and she'll also put the GoFundMe link in there. And keep being creative and love of Pride,
Pride.
because yeah,
I
don't
love
fuck
you,
with the queer
Cade.
kids. We'll fuck you up.
That's right. Love you so much. I'm proud of you and the growth that I've seen in you. Beautiful.
I know, I'm so beautiful.
You are. I wonder where you get that. Oh, you look like your dad, don't you?
All right. Bye,
Love
little
you, Cade. Happy
podcast.
Pride. Proud of you. Go fund me. Check it out.
Check
Let's
out my
follow Cade.
GoFundMe.